Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Dean Croak, the Grumpy Pete, and here's my trip with Andy Scott. He's a driver for Goreham. Here he is with his W990 Kenworth parked in front of me. We're on the ferry going from St John, New Brunswick, across to Digby, Nova Scotia. Corey was on his way back from Ohio, heading back to Port Clyde, where they're located. I've always wanted to catch the ferry across the Bay of Fundy after hearing so many stories of Southshore fish haulers running lobsters into Boston and New York City. So this was kind of a bucket list item for me. I pulled in the night before and around dusk and parked behind Andy. I didn't know him at that point, and I went up to him and asked him if he knew where I could get a truck wash because I was heading to the truck show in Bridgewater the next day. And about 5 minutes later, he came up to the truck and said, I've called my boss, Corey Goreham, and he said you can come down to our terminal in Port Clyde and wash your truck there. So it was my first taste of Southshore hospitality. What a wonderful group of guys they are from the South Shore. These are the guys that run seafood, like tuna, halibut, mostly lobster into Boston and New York City. So if you've ever had lobster in Boston or New York City, these are the guys that bring it down overnight, but it involves a 3-hour ferry ride across the Bay of Fundy. Had a lot of fun on this trip, met some really cool guys. Stephen Ryer in his big Lomax Western Star, Jeremy in his International with the autism signs painted down the side. There was a guy from Captain's Choice in a black Freightliner. His name escapes me. My apologies. There was Rob Nickerson in his blue 389 for B. Reynolds. Of course, Owen in the red or brown W900 for Wedgeport. Had a lot of fun with those guys at the Brothers of the Highway Truck Show. And, of course, Andy here in the Gorham truck. He was really good enough to wait for me as we got off the ferry so I could follow him down. We drove down Highway 101 and 103. We drove past Barrington on our way into Port Clyde. And, of course, Barrington, for those that don't know, Barrington is the lobster capital of Canada. Fascinating place to drive through. We haul past there pretty quick, but basics of it are that the lobster fishing grounds off Barrington on the southern shore of Nova Scotia are amongst the richest in the world. That's why it's known as the lobster capital of Canada. It's been an economic background or backbone of the community for since the 1800s. They even built a Christmas tree out of lobster traps during the holiday. Anyway, the ride down to Port Clyde took about 2 hours down the highway, very scenic route. We had a lot of fun chatting over the CB, met a lot of guys coming the other direction, as you can see in the video here. But we ended up washing the trucks that day. We washed several trucks with Corey. Had a tour around his location, had a look at his new house he's building. Corey took me over to meet Brian Reynolds, B. Reynolds and Company, and had a look at his cab over Kenworth that he's got in the storage shed. It was just great to meet some of these folks, and especially a lot of the fish haulers that we see down here in Boston all the time. Of course, they're in and out overnight, but we get to see them. You'll know them because most of their trailers are triaxle trailers, but they're always on point. They're a great bunch of guys. Anyway, enjoy the video. If you like what you see here, drop a comment in, like the video, and please subscribe to the channel.